This time around, it's Fabrizio Romano with a huge Eric Ten Hag departure possibility stance all really hint onto this channel. And you know what we do in here: Samuel Lucas into the mix and very many others. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. This is the channel that brings you your latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned, and let's see how things are really going to pan out into the mix. There is an injury boost ahead of the game of Man City, and we are waiting to see how things are really going to pan out. But let's see close to 300 likes. Smash on this video as we are into the last nine days of the month and see how things are really going to pan out. But we thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum, and you all know that later we'll be broadcasting the match preview, Man United versus Man City, and I hope that if Eric Ten Hag does not come up today to address a press conference, he's going to be addressing it tomorrow. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum, and the Christians, we thank you, and may the living to God bless you abundantly. Now, Fabrizio Romano on the 22nd of this month came out and said the FA Cup final will be important for Eric Ten Hag. The board want to see a proper performance here against Man City. They want to see the mentality of the squad and how the team reacts in a dangerous situation. It's a 50-50 situation currently for Eric Ten Hag. And then after, I think he came through and contradicted himself when he said the Eric Ten Hag situation is really open and it's not just about winning the cup on Saturday. Anything can happen with Eric Ten Hag, and there is a possibility of him to leave Manchester United. Ten Hag's future is still not something that is decided as of yet. So, I'm trying to obviously doubt Ineos. I tell you, if Ineos have reached this level, when they haven't gone ahead to decide the fate of Eric Ten Hag, then Ineos is the problem. How can you reach this level and not really know the fate of the manager, right? Because we are into the last days of May. The summer transfer window is opening on the 14th. That means you don't have ample time to really interview your managers. That means you're going to miss out on your targets, because our summer transfer window will have to start in mid-July. Let me just paint a scenario. If Ten Hag is sacked, like next week on Monday, I'm just insinuating, if he's sacked next week on Monday, you know what happens? Manchester United will need to interview their variable managers, and that will take like a week. You get? When the manager comes in through, he has to assess the squad. You get? After assessing the squad, Man United will have to come up with a resolution on who is leaving and who is not leaving. And I tell you what, when you bring in a manager, he has the first refusal on who leaves and who goes. So you might find it hard as a project to see it that we really let players that Eric Ten Hag had told the board that they should leave the club of Manchester United. So that means we are literally going to be having just 1 month of a summer transfer window, and we are yet to go into a pre-season without new signings. And how will the new signings fit into that team? If Ineos are going to do that, I'll come here and say they are really no different from the Glazers. How do we reach a level of playing on Saturday, right? And Ineos has not gone ahead to know who is going to be the manager of Manchester United next season. All else, they are not doing this, and they want to keep Eric Ten Hag here. But if they were 100% sure they are going to keep him here, then they would have gone ahead to put out a statement. You understand? But I don't know exactly what's happening with Ineos, and they're really making bad orders. Because if you come out and tell Eric Ten Hag to save your job, showcase what you can do against Man City, that is a David versus Goliath war. You know that. Man City is Goliath and Manchester United is David. And for Manchester United to defeat Man City, you'll need a miracle like what happened on David. You need the power of the Holy Spirit. You understand? So you can't tell me that you have been at Manchester United ever since December. You understand? You've been doing everything and talking to the players, talking to the managers, talking to the staff. You've gone ahead to start recruiting in people, and you don't know what Erik ten Hag is capable of. I remember when Jason Willox came in through, we are told that he's in here because they want to see that he's going to assess how good Erik ten Hag is. You remember that? And then later they told us that Jason Willox was going to be impressed by Erik ten Hag, and they sit at the canteen together to discuss the future of the club. Now, where do the McKennas come into the mix? You know, that is my huge question. How do the McKennas come into the mix to obviously find themselves in a position of being given a chance even to be part of the project of Manchester United? McKenna was here, he failed. He failed, and the players were like, he's naive. And remember, he was working with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Michael Carrick, and the players were like, their training setups are really very, 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 very amateurish. You understand? Now, he's the same guy that we're looking at. So, Ineos has to pull a master stroke, because I've gone ahead to see a story that Hans Flick is going to Barcelona, right? Now, if you are Ineos, all you have to do is, you should get in Zinedine Zidane. That is the guy. You cannot tell me that you want to bring in Pochettino, who has failed at Chelsea, PSG, and you want to bring him at Man United? No. Even Bayern Munich cannot resign. You can't tell me that bring in Tuchel. Tuchel is a failure in the Premier League. He has failed at Bayern Munich, failed at PSG. You understand? If you're bringing in Pochettino, who has failed at Chelsea, or Tuchel, who has failed at PSG, Chelsea, and Bayern Munich, why don't you really leave Erik ten Hag here? And the best plan for me is simple. Erik ten Hag is left with 1 year on his contract, plus a further additional year. Task him to obviously show exactly what he really wants, because the pressure that would have gone ahead to be created onto Ineos is no longer more, as Bayern Munich and Barcelona are closing in to Kompany and Hans Flick as their new managers respectively, meaning that Erik ten Hag will have to dance to the tunes of Ineos. And the only problem that Ineos will be having is no player will be wanting to come to a club under a manager who is just having 1 year left on his contract, meaning that if Erik ten Hag is to stay here, to attract players here to feel like they're going to be comfortable at the club, they'll have to obviously add him 2 more years on his contract. You understand? So, a lot of things have not been unfolded at Manchester United, and Ineos are really trying to really work at a snail pace, I tell you. You know, because if they wanted to sack Erik ten Hag, it would have been clear. Because Fabrizio is telling us that his future is not yet undecided, and you ask yourself, if Ineos is that competent and they want to let Erik ten Hag go, how come they haven't gone ahead to make a decision on really sacking Erik ten Hag? Maybe surprisingly, Ineos will come up and obviously show us something special, that they had their manager already down there for you, Ole Dizabi, whom I don't believe in to come through at Manchester United, because the egos of those players at Manchester are really huge, and I don't know whether they can really handle them. Then maybe Zinedine Zidane, they've gone ahead to agree with him. You understand? Managers of high calibers that can obviously turn around a lot of things. So I'm here to wait and see how that is going to pan out. But every information that is really being circulated, for me, it's really uncalled for. It's all about Ineos coming out and really make a very huge verdict that Erik ten Hag is going to be staying or not. Simple. Put out that statement. Why don't you put it out? You know, what does it cost? You know, such that every person will know his fate. You understand? So we wait and see how that pans out. But I still believe Erik ten Hag is going to be our next manager next season at a percentage of 70%. 30% he might be sacked, but 70% I'm 100% sure that ten Hag is going to be your manager. And if you're to consider the game of Man City, he's really going to come in through and really do the needful, I tell you. His players are back. We have a boost of other players coming in through from the injury crisis, and I'm going to really play you that statement put out by a certain Daily Mail journalist. But Samuel Lucas came out and told us yesterday that Manchester United, Chelsea and Brighton have all expressed interest in Ipswich town manager Kieran McKenna. United and Chelsea have contacted McKenna's representatives should either club decide to change manager in the summer. Damn it. Damn it. I can't really hold this. I can't stand this. That amongst all managers, Manchester United is really going in for McKenna. That is really very annoying. And I don't believe it. I tell you this, I don't believe it. I think the agent of McKenna is at play, but United cannot employ this boy. He has just been here, as I told you, I think around the 5th minute of the video. He was with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and he failed. Now, he needs to obviously follow that right trajectory. And if you are McKenna, you'll be that broad to accept the job of Manchester United and Chelsea. If I'm McKenna, the only job I can do is Brighton's job. And if I'm McKenna, I can really find myself doing better job at Brighton than Man United and Chelsea, because all those teams have not going to obviously gain what called stability. You know, if McKenna is thrown into a Man City, he can do wonders because that team has the best people in there for you. Throw him into an Arsenal, he can. But at Manchester United, where players don't even rate him highly, I don't find it sane for Manchester United to go in for McKenna. I find it insane for Manchester United to go in for McKenna. That is an insanely act, I tell you. So, I would love to let you know that it's really one of those moments that you believe United is at crossroads, but each and every time something is at crossroads, they need someone who is good at it to obviously steady the ship. This ship needs to be steadied, and you can't tell me that with the problems they're having, the manager is the problem. The players should go. They're going to have to do a clear out at the top or the helm of the club. And now, I want to see how Sir Jim Ratcliffe eats his words, because he told us that the problem is not the manager. The problem going to have to be the players, because even the best players and managers that are going to have to run the club of Manchester United are going to have to come out and fail. Then let's put the hierarchy there. Let Erik ten Hag move on the players he wants. Give him one more season to keep doing what he's supposed to do. Now, for the FA Cup game that is rumored to be the last game of Erik ten Hag, he is going to have to get a very huge boost, and maybe he can really get a very huge send-off in there for you. Mason Mount, Anthony Martial, Victor Lindelof are all back in the training ahead of the FA Cup final. Now, for Victor Lindelof and Anthony Martial, it's not news. They've been training for the club, I think, for the past 2 weeks. But for Mason Mount, it's really good news for me. And it's really giving that he's really back and willing to obviously give us the best that we deserve as a club of Manchester United. You never know what he does. He's a big game killer. Mason Mount, in big games, he has going to hit to score very many games. And you remember that pass that was really line breaking to Kai Havertz while at Chelsea in 2021 when they won the Champions League. You remember that pass? So, I think the return of Mason Mount is really great for this team. And now, if even Lindelof and Martial can make it to the bench, add on Mason Mount, then Anthony, then Amrabat, and other players, that will be really great for the club of Manchester United. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Tell me your thoughts about Ten Hag departure possibility. Still there. Fabrizio Romano is going to obviously give us a hint. Do you agree with him? Do you think he's contradicting himself on this? Yes or no? And also tell me what your thoughts are about Kieran McKenna, one of those that is going to obviously be linked to the club of Manchester United. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. We out for now.